Hey, it's Jazz at RedPandaReads, and today I'm going to review Here is the Beehive by Sarah Crossan. This book is incredible. I absolutely loved it. It made me feel so much. It was incredibly heartbreaking at times. It was incredibly difficult at times. But, oh my goodness, she has written such an incredibly powerful novel here, and I'm going to share with you why I think you should read this and why I love this book. Before I begin, just to let you know, this book does deal with some triggering subjects, so it does deal with things such as adultery, death, and also has some references to miscarriage within the book. Anyway, let me begin. So Here is the Beehive follows a woman called Anna who has been having an affair for about 3 years with a married man named Connor. And at the very start of the book, you find out Connor has died. And the difficult thing is, not only is our main character Anna having to deal with his death on her own because she has told no one about this affair, but she is also the solicitor for Connor's will, and so Connor's wife Rebecca is contacting Anna to try and organise all the paperwork surrounding her ex-lover's death. Yeah, you can see this is pretty deep stuff. So the whole book is from Anna's point of view, and it's also written in verse. Let me just show you, which does make it a very quick read, and it flows so beautifully. Like, I didn't even notice that I was turning pages. I was so enraptured by this book and the writing style. And I think the thing I loved most about it is how it managed to convey the extent of Anna's feelings by the way this book was structured. So I've seen a few people say they didn't like the fact that this book jumps between the past and the present with no clear indication of when it's the past or when it's the present, which can lead to you feeling quite confused about what exactly Anna's referring to or who she's talking to at certain parts. And initially I found this too quite jarring. However, the more I read it and kind of the more I've reflected on it, the more I think this kind of confusion in the narrative is representative of how our main character Anna is feeling. So Anna has just gone through hell. She's having to kind of try and bottle up all this grief, try and function. She can't discuss it with anyone. And you can see as the book kind of develops, she becomes more and more short-tempered. She stops looking after herself. She also becomes completely obsessed with certain things, and she is not well. And something kind of from my personal experience is when I've been severely anxious, because I have suffered with anxiety in the past, your mind becomes very kind of focused on certain things, but at the same time unable to kind of stay on track. So you'll be asked to do a certain job, but then you'll start thinking of something else you need to do, and your ability to just focus kind of goes out the window, and it fills you with such kind of stress and dread. And that's what I felt with this book. I felt that we were inside her mind and that she kept on flitting back to thinking about the past rather than just living in the present, and she couldn't concentrate because of how she felt, and she was feeling confused and lost. And by making us as the reader also sometimes a little bit confused and lost, we were kind of feeling what she was feeling. And I will say here that kind of, I think if you have had a recent grief or anything, recent bereavement, this book would be really difficult because it made me feel sad. It made me feel like I was her and I'd lost something. And it really is, heartbreaking at times. The other thing I loved about this book, about how it was written, is there is one character in this book named Mark who was aware of Connor and Anna's relationship. So he was friends with Connor, and although he doesn't know Anna that well, in the beginning he does kind of agree to kind of meet with her, give her a little bit of support. However, sometimes it is not clear whether Anna is making reference to Mark or to Connor. And I kind of see this as the fact that potentially Anna is still not accepting that Connor is gone, and she's almost seeing Mark as Connor, and she is confusing what is real and what isn't. So I thought that was very, very clever. Another thing I want to point out, which may put some readers off, is the main character Anna is not very likeable. She is quite cruel at times. She appears to be quite selfish, and in certain things that she says seems somewhat manipulative. And so, unlike Sarah Crossan's other books, such as Moonrise, which is a phenomenal book as well, where I absolutely love the characters, I didn't like Anna. However, I still felt I knew her. I still felt connected to her. I felt like I was going through what she was going through because of how it was written. The thing about this book that I didn't initially like as much is I felt you never really got a grasp of who Connor was. There wasn't actually, apart from Anna and his relationship, you didn't hear much about him, and I often felt that the conversations that Anna and Connor were having were quite repetitive. So a big theme within this story is that Anna, she feels jealous of Rebecca. She wants Connor to leave his wife Rebecca. She wants to be with him. However, Connor says he can't do that. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He loves her, but he can't leave his wife. And that is a common theme and common argument throughout this book, which I found at parts a little bit repetitive. However, in hindsight, I actually realised that I have a very biased view towards Connor. I have Anna's view of Connor. You don't really hear much about Connor from anyone else, not his wife, not his friend Mark, and therefore you just see Connor as how Anna saw him in her little world of secrecy. So again, I just think that's really clever, the way, just kind of the way this is written, and it was beautiful. And the whole book, I would say, is about losing someone but not being able to grieve properly. So altogether, this is a very kind of upsetting and at times uncomfortable read, but not in a bad way. Like, you're feeling what Anna is feeling. She does stuff that makes you uncomfortable at times, but it's absolutely beautifully written. I just adored the story. I feel like it's such a kind of fresh look at grief, because this will happen to people, and I haven't seen it like this anywhere else. And I absolutely adored this book, and I would really recommend this. I'd also recommend Sarah Crossan's other book, Moonrise, especially if you prefer, which is for young adults, and I think especially if you prefer a likeable protagonist, that would be more kind of your cup of tea. But yeah, phenomenal. I can't wait to read more of your writing. I know you've got other young adult books out there, but I also hope you do some more adult books as well. Also, can I just say, got a signed copy, super exciting. And also, look at the little bee. You might not be able to see it. Little bee and a little leaf. If anyone has read this and can tell me why it's called Here is the Beehive, that would be great. That's the only thing. I don't really see how the title relates to the book. But yeah, it's wonderful. Anyway, take care everyone. Have a wonderful week, and I will be back soon.